Hi, everyone. We have Jessica Kishpaugh here again with us from LoYo Wellness. Welcome, Jessica.
Hey, Tara. Happy to be here. My baby wants to come join us too, so he might have to come.
It's part of life right now, so let him sit on your lap. He can talk. So I thought it would be good to have Jessica back on because obviously this whole situation that has taken place for what? Are we at 2 months yet?
Just about.
Right. And of course, everyone has been stressed the entire time, but I just feel like everyone is getting to that breaking point. Like they're stressed, their energy is low, and I feel like everyone's been having highs and lows during this entire time, but I just think it's starting to really wear on people. So I thought it would be good for you to, just give us a few tips on, mental health, how to deal with the stress and keep our energy up. Yes, it's a big way, between stress, energy, and mental health. It's a lot of information. I know you can provide a lot of that for us, but if, you give us what information you have and what you want, and then people can reach out to you if they want more. So
That's perfect. So this is Tyler, everyone.
Tyler.
Speaking of stress, it's tough to be home with little kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And it is definitely driving me bananas, and I do have the tools. So, it is hard. And I think that is the first thing, just to understand that we are human.
Right.
And this situation is something that we've never gone through before. So it is really hard, and giving ourselves just a little bit of grace to understand that, this is not going to be our lives forever. And it is okay to do the best that we can. So before I just get into the tips, I just wanted to just sort of throw that out there. We can do the best that we can, and that's good enough.
Right.
That's simply good enough. And I posted something the other day about just
a lot of people need to hear that too.
Yeah. And just, we need to recognize that we're not perfect people, and we all have flaws, and our stress response is heightened, and we can help that. And I will give suggestions. And I also have a great ebook that I had created. So I can actually, you can pop it in the comments. I can send it to you about just stress relief right now. To lots of things that I can get into, but, just realizing what is the best that you can do is good enough right now.
Right.
So let's just see if Tyler sees okay. Okay. All right, cool. So I just want to talk a little bit about a couple of things that I typically teach when it comes to reducing the stress response. And then I want to hone in on a couple of specific tips while we're home, hooped it up. So yeah. One thing is, without getting into the exact definitions of stress and stressors and tie. No, you just want to sit on mommy's lap? Okay. All right. So first off, it's important to really separate the stress from the stressor. So the stressor is COVID, right? The stressor is our situation. The stressor is the thing, the person, the situation that we have no control over.
Right.
Stress is our response. And that is something we do have some level of control over, and you can change that. You can reset it. You can learn how to respond differently. You can learn how to become more resilient. And one thing I like to say is really embracing that notion of control what you can control, right? You can't control the stressor, but you can control your response. So people who, they're so focused on wishing the situation to be different, or wishing a person to be different, right? If you perhaps have a family member who, I don't know, struggles with something, and you just want to change them so bad, and it's out of the kindness of your heart because you love them and you want them, I don't know, maybe it's a family member who's overweight and you want to help them be healthier, or maybe you have, alcoholism in your family, and you so badly want that person to change and to go to rehab, or, there's so many different things when it comes to trying to change someone, but you have to remember that when you no longer stay attached to things that you cannot change, that's when you actually find the relief. And that's when you gain control back in your life. Otherwise, you're just so focused on something that you can never change. And it just becomes this like vicious cycle, right? So it's really like control what you can control is so key. And it's a learning process and it takes practice, and it's just embracing that notion and just keep reminding yourself of that. Like, you can only control certain things in your life and do have control over your response.
Right.
And you do that. You can do that by letting go of certain things, right? You might let go of certain people. You might let go of events that are, you know, you're holding on to emotions from things that may have happened to you years ago. And, you know, you may be holding on to feelings of anger or guilt or shame or worry. And these are like creeping up, especially now that you have a heightened stress response.
Right.
So the quicker you let go of things that don't serve you, especially when it comes to control, the better off you are. The quicker your, you know, a positive chain reaction is going to happen so that you feel that relief, right? You feel this like huge burden lifted off your shoulders and you can move forward. And
you're able to handle current stresses or stressors, right?
What'd you say?
I said, so you're able to handle current stressors opposed to ones that you've kind of slipped under the rug in a way.
Exactly. Your mindset, you're really reframing and reteaching how your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs are responding.
Mm-hmm.
You can literally like change how, there's a whole neurology behind this, but you can literally change how the neurons are wiring and firing in your brain by simply starting to let go of like things and people and situation that you're holding on to, but also starting to reframe your mindset. So this is like the third thing that to that. But you can start to reframe your thoughts. So one thing I like to say right now is rewriting your self-talk by kind of just adjusting, you know, realizing we're human, right?
Right.
But looking at events and the situation, maybe the situation right now, by trying consciously to see people, right? Like people, situations, through a glass half full mentality and looking for those silver linings.
Okay.
And, you know, gratitude practices may seem really like woo-woo and like hokey to a lot of people, but that's what it is. It's really just starting to show up from a place of compassion and gratitude where you can just find the little teeny things in your life. It doesn't have to be super big. I mean, it can be, but just, you know, hey, I get to hold my baby, right? Like,
right.
I had a wonderful cup of coffee this morning. Like, you know, silly things like that. I was able to work out, you know, this morning from home, and he was actually really well behaved, and I didn't like, you know, fall all over him, and, you know, just
right.
like the little teeny things. If you can start to just shift just a tad to consciously just find those little things of little pieces of positivity in your life, even though in the grand scheme of things, it's a really like crap situation right now, and we are so burned out and overwhelmed by the entire situation, it will start to make you feel better. And gratitude comes from a place of compassion, and it comes from a place of, you know, selflessness. However, it always does make us feel a little bit better. So with that, I do have some, so are we good so far, or you want to make it?
No, that's great. And it's so true. I mean, even like with my group of work people, we always start, like we do this morning mindset call in the morning, and we start with gratitude. And then, and then every Friday when we have the breakfast club, it's a bunch of us agents who are together, and we start with gratitude with that also. So they're always like trying to help us with our mindset, and it makes a big difference.
I mean, especially like mindset is huge, you know, especially for yourself. So you have your own business, like, you know, you run your own, you have your own clients, and that's a really important thing when it comes to like small business owners, right? Small business owners, people who have their own business, especially right now, like for myself, there's a big mental shift when it comes to rejection, right? Like there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of people who don't take your services, and that can really take a toll on your self-esteem and your,
for sure. Okay.
You know, your drive to move forward and continue in your business. But that's just one thing aside.
Right.
You're just so silly. Sorry, guys.
No, that's great. And I think that because I do think a lot of people do have trouble not discussing, but changing their mindset and pulling out, especially people that are very negative, you know. So when you've just had that negativity your whole life, and if you're surrounded by it, then it's hard for you to really, but like you said, just find one little thing and just build on it. I mean, and then over time you'll get used to it and it'll make a big difference. So, and that's even myself, I'm trying to, each day wake up in the morning, say your affirmations and just pick those things that you're grateful for.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a couple of things that specific to just this situation that I think are really important. I can go through those if you want.
Sure. Up to you.
Yeah. So I think, the term social distancing, I like to call it physical distancing because we can still be social. Like you and I are being social right now.
Right.
People can still be social in a different way. And I think the idea and the concept is catching on, but my point is really to stay in touch and interact with people, like keeps your mental health at optimal condition.
Right.
And it helps you reduce your stress and anxiety because you don't feel so alone. So like he just really wants the computer and he wants to press things, but I'm afraid he'll shut me off. My almost 3-year-old has been having like weekly play dates with his classmates from daycare, or, people are doing Zoom happy hours, or, my husband and I, we go on, like, they have some apps now for like games, like online games, like game nights.
House party?
Yeah, like house party. And seriously, Ty, come on, Boom. I know you want to press it. Give me 1 second. All right, you stay here. And you're gonna be. So I think things like that are really important. Like I call, instead of calling my family or friends, like I like to FaceTime now, which I never really did before.
Right.
But just things like that where it's just trying to be social as much as possible. My mom like organized a happy hour for my whole family tonight, so that's like fun and
right.
things like that. Staying active is critical. Okay, you're just being very, very difficult right now, huh? Sorry, guys. All right, so things like staying active, I think, is really critical. Now, aside from the huge benefits of improving your physical health, like endurance and, muscle tone and things like that, physical activity is actually like an amazing stress reducer. Right. So consider that. What are you doing, buddy? Endorphins are released. That's your natural.
Right.
I'm so sorry, honey.
Oh, sorry, it's okay. If you want to sum up.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
We can always do an episode.
You're getting cranky. So here's my points. I'm not going to get into detail. Stay active, eat healthy, stay hydrated, get enough sleep. Self-care and giving yourself permission to focus and care on yourself is a big one. Having gratitude, as I mentioned. Enjoying your alone time and encouraging others to have alone time are really important.
I agree.
If you need help with any of these things, this is my expertise as far as the nutrition, the healthy recipes, what nutrients are the best right now to keep your energy and your immune system up in optimal condition.
Yeah.
What are the foods that will keep stress at bay? What foods are going to exacerbate your stress? Sugar, caffeine, alcohol, things like that.
Right.
So, I'm happy to provide more resources. Obviously, he needs my attention right now, so it's a little bit hard. But, there's so many things that, I have blogs and resources and, free ebooks, like I mentioned, happy to provide to the community.
Right. No, thank you. I so appreciate you coming on and doing this. And of course, I told Sivan also, you two in your new collaboration, I want to talk to you guys so, the rest of the world can know about your new program that you're doing.
Yeah, it's super exciting. So I focus on, yes, Tai, I know you were part of Sivan's workout this morning, right? So I focus on nutrition and mindfulness. She's a fitness instructor. And so we've sort of combined forces to like have this, 360 degree like trifecta approach to wellness right now. And we created a 5-day program where you guys can participate for 5 days and have access to like all these amazing things. Called
Right.
Full for 5, and we're going to launch in about a week and a half, May 11th. we start.
Awesome. Okay. So we will talk about that another time and share it with the world. But thank you.
You're
Tyler,
welcome.
thanks for joining us today.
Goodbye,
Oh,
Taita.
you're so excited to eat your lunch, huh?
Yes, you say
Yeah. All right. Jessica, thank you. I'll put your information for everyone in the bottom, and we will talk soon. All right.
Thanks, Sarah.
Welcome. Bye.